PDP and directing the PDP and its national leadership to recognize and deal with them. Justice Stephen Jumbo adjourned the case until January 15, 2025, after listening to counsel for the defendants, a senior advocate of Nigeria who informed the court of the absence of the claimant's counsel. Let me start with you, Joshua. What do you make of this story?
Okay. I am not one of the parties to the case. And so I'm not fully abreast with all the facts of the case. But from the news and from what you just read, I think if this is being established, then the congresses that were held in Rivers State between July and August this year will be faulty. Okay. The reason is this. Prior to the conduction of those congresses, there was a subsisting order of a high court restraining the PDP from conducting congresses in Rivers State. Now, ordinarily in law, once a subject matter, we call it res, is submitted to the court, all the parties involved are supposed to take action, whether or there is an injunction to that effect. Now, in this case, there was an interim order restraining the party from acting on that subject matter, which the party ignored and went ahead to conduct the congresses. So I believe that if this is established, because it's an affront to a court of law, that a court will give an order and you go against it. The court will frown at it and nullify whatever has been done in disobedience to a court order.
All right. In Rivers State, apparently, there have been established attitude of state actors, or let's say actors in matters before the court where orders are being given and they flaunt the orders and go ahead. I can give you example with the recent APC Congress. You are aware that when APC held their ward, local government and state congresses, there was an injunction against that Congress. However, they were able to vacate it at the appeal court. But few days to the Congress, again, another injunction came from the state high court, barring that Congress from holding. And the people that appealed, that filed for that injunction, said that they bought form, but they were not given form to participate in the elections and all of that. However, APC went ahead to hold that Congress. And when I had a member of their SEC council, their SEC in my show, and I quit why they would have to go ahead, they said that the state high court in the first instance did not have jurisdiction to entertain that matter. What do you make of that? Okay.
The point is this. Whether a court has jurisdiction or not, ordinarily, all the parties that are aware of that subject matter be submitted to a court or to stay action on that subject matter. But there is an exception. Like you said, you had a guest here who told you that the High Court never had jurisdiction.
The State High Court
never had jurisdiction over the matter. I can't stay here and say whether, because it depends on the subject matter before the court, the parties, and now the relief sought that will determine whether a court has jurisdiction. But what happens in most instances is that when an appellate court finds out that the trial court has no jurisdiction, the appellate court will set aside whatever the High Court has done.
Right.
So, regardless of whether a subject matter was before the court, if the Court of Appeal finds out, or Supreme Court as the case may be, that the court acted because in law, when a court does not have jurisdiction, whatever is done,
it's null and void.
Okay. So if you have been able to establish that at the time the orders were made, the court has no jurisdiction, then
probably they will have.
Ordinarily, because the subject matter was for a court of law,
they should have stayed execution on that.
They would have stayed on the subject matter.
All right. Now let us final question before I move over to Chris Oka. Let us look at the persons involved in this Rivers State crisis. Now, talking about the PDP national, in this instance now, is the PDP national that have gone ahead to, veto this Congress. It was the PDP national that vetoed the Congress. One would say, does the court have that right over the party at the national level? That is one. And there was a Supreme Court judgment going on before now that said that courts the internal wranglings of a party, you know, cannot be superintended over by the judiciary. Is that correct?
Yes, let me start with the latter question. Ordinarily and generally, political matters are seen to be family affairs.
Yeah.
That the courts cannot come in to decide what the family should do. But there are instances when the family member will come to the court and say, look, this family is treating me unjustly.
I will not get justice from this family.
Yes.
Okay.
So people are stepping on my right as a family member, in this case PDP or APC. The court will question, will look at whatever the family has done, the family head or the other members of the family to say, was this man unjust? Finds out that the man was unjustly treated.